Bro, if I don't make over 50,000 in a month, I'm negative.
I can't afford to pay rent for me and my girlfriend, so instead of asking her to split the rent, I started to just resent her for it.
As a full-time content creator for 3 years, I was broke.
It happened again. More influencers are admitting they're broke.
Yeah, about that. I have made nothing this month as a content creator.
At this point, I should make this a weekly series. The strange part isn't that influencers keep running out of money. It's that they all seem to make the exact same financial mistakes. The first mistake is probably the biggest one. Influencers build a lifestyle around their best month instead of their average month.
The very next month, I made $1 million in 30 days. And the month after that, I made $10,000 the very next month.
Instead of treating that income like it could disappear tomorrow, they upgrade everything. A bigger apartment, a luxury car, designer clothes. And the creators we're looking at today are no different.
Bro, if I don't make over 50,000 in a month, I'm negative. Literally. I ain't gonna make no money. So I gotta work. I have no choice.
You still gonna be blessed though, because a lot of people, majority of people don't make that in a whole year.
But that's how I can keep up. I literally have to make 50,000.
Money isn't everything.
Needing over $600,000 a year just to maintain your lifestyle is honestly hard to wrap my head around. One person commented, "He's cooked because this streaming stuff isn't going to last." Exactly. Too many influencers assume today's income is tomorrow's income. Instead of saving during the good years, they increase their spending and hope the money keeps rolling in. That's a risky way to live when your paycheck depends on views.
I'm poor. Up. Your streaming is not paying enough. Up right now.
Our next creator made a very similar mistake. After finding some success on TikTok, he and his girlfriend started apartment hunting. Instead of renting something they could comfortably afford, they chose a place he admitted was pushing his budget.
I can't afford to pay rent for me and my girlfriend, so instead of asking her to split the rent, I started to just resent her for it. Entire past month of us touring apartments, I adamantly told her, like, no, I want to pay for our rent on my own. Yesterday, we finally found the place, a beautiful 1-bedroom. But the only problem was that it was $5,700 a month. And when the leasing agent told us that number, my heart immediately sank. In fact, the next morning when we were discussing how to lay out the apartment, I started feeling a lot more scared about these small things. Like, oh, I need the living room space, so make sure that you're not in the room while I'm filming. And my work is important because I'm the one who has to pay the rent. And she told me she felt like I was controlling the entire movement. She actually even asked me, please let me split part of the rent, because I don't want to lose my own sense of agency. When I was younger, I always told myself I want to be the type of dad who doesn't come home with a frown on his face, tired, telling his wife to cook him a meal while he sits on the couch, entitled because he's the breadwinner. No, I want to be the type of dad who shows up every single day with a smile on his face. No matter how hard he worked, he shows up and he's like happy and he's present. I'm not there yet in that level of abundance. And I just started feeling so grateful that my girlfriend actually pushes back on these things, because I know she wants me to be that kind of husband and father one day too. And the other one is that I just need to make loads more money this summer. So today is day one of trying to make $1 million in one summer.
That was kinda cringe. Thankfully, the comments didn't hold back, and surprisingly, the creator liked most of them. One person wrote, "It's called living below your means. Hope this helps." Another said, "Why not just pay for something you can comfortably afford?" But this comment summed it up perfectly. Dude, don't let ego and money destroy you. Also, social media money isn't forever. Don't shoot your living costs up just because of a year of high income. Save up. He liked that comment too, which makes me wonder, did he already realize he'd made a mistake? Because that's the pattern we're seeing over and over again. The problem is, social media income isn't guaranteed. One algorithm change, one controversy, or one drop in views, and that income can disappear almost overnight. Yet their bills stay exactly the same. Just ask B. Simone. She's an influencer who's best known for her recurring role on MTV's Wild 'N Out. At one point, she said she was making around $1 million a month, but that all changed overnight when she got canceled.
The very next month, I made $1 million in 30 days. And the month after that, I made $10,000 the very next month.
Why?
Because I was canceled on social media.
Oh, that was the men?
That was in that same time frame, right?
So that's the
I went from $1 million month to a 10,000. What percent drop is that? We are in the red. What the Code red. Hello, please. We need a new team.
Now, to be fair, $10,000 a month is still a great income for most people. But when you've built your entire lifestyle around making $1 million a month, that's a completely different story.
But I said all that to say followers don't equate money, and you can be here one day and the consumer is so episodic. One day they're like, oh, well, yesterday you loved the book. You loved everything
episodic?
I said.
Is that the word of the day?
Yeah, episodic.
She even revealed that she had to start shopping at cheaper stores. The horror.
Just my finances. Like, the budgeting, you see how I am. Nitpicking every little thing. I've never been like that. We were in Bloomingdale's yesterday. I'm like, we have to go to H&M.
It turns out she was canceled after being accused of plagiarizing parts of her self-published book, Baby Girl, Manifest the Life You Want. Whether you think she deserved the backlash or not, her story is another reminder that influencer money can disappear a lot faster than people think. Sometimes one controversy is all it takes. If you don't save during the good times, you're going to have a really hard time when those good times eventually end. But while some influencers go broke living above their means, others go broke because influencing doesn't provide a consistent income, so they end up returning to 9-to-5 jobs.
As a full-time content creator for 3 years, I was broke. There would be months where I would make absolutely $0. Thank God for modeling jobs and some consulting jobs I had gotten, but I've actually been actively looking for a job for the past 6 months. Just as I would be about to run out of money, some kind of opportunity would come along, whether it be a brand deal or a modeling job, but I would make just enough money to pay my rent and live. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I've even had to borrow money from my sister to pay my rent. My little sister. And I'm not that stupid with my money. I don't buy extravagant things. I thrift. I'm on OfferUp. I buy everything secondhand. I go to grocery outlet. I'm on Facebook Marketplace. Like, my cost of living is very low. My rent for LA is also very cheap. So that's how I've been able to live on such a low salary for such a long time.
But not every influencer is admitting they're struggling. Some are doing the exact opposite. They're faking it until they make it. They show a lifestyle that's clearly unsustainable because looking rich attracts followers, brand deals, and opportunities.
I'm not naming no names, but I wish you guys knew how easy it is to fake being wealthy for the internet here in LA. A lot of those big money guys and your favorite creators don't live where you think they live. So up the street from here, we have this $100 million mansion that costs $90 an hour to rent out. A lot of creators rent that space once a week, film their content, and make it look like they live there. Rent a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, $99 an hour. It gets crazier because most people in LA have a following, because to be a model or an actor, there's a lot of casting calls you can't go to unless you have a following. What used to happen is when you got with an agency, they would dump you a bunch of bots. Now most people realize how that damages an account, but the metrics are still there. And since most people don't know how to do that, they end up buying followers, likes, comments, shares, everything, so they can go to casting calls and keep their agency. There's even more because there's agency funded houses out here. Anyone who's part of that agency can go film there and make it look like they live there, and they encourage you to do this because it looks better for the internet. But there's even more because we also have designer rental services. It's between $300 and $800 a month, and you get bags, shoes, sunglasses, clothing, anything you need, all designer. You just wear it, get your pictures, and then send it back. As long as you don't ruin it, you don't have to pay for it. You can fully construct a lifestyle out here of wealth. And that's part of the reason we're starting to get a bunch of influencer debt resolution companies now.
The problem is, eventually this fake image becomes expensive to maintain, and influencers go into massive debt to keep up with it. Some even turn to scamming their followers just to make money to afford their lifestyles.
Okay, so I don't know about y'all, but I've noticed that there's a huge influx of broke influencers on TikTok that are begging for money, and some of them even being involved in scams. Yesterday, I saw this TikToker who had almost 1 million subscribers or followers, and she was involved in a GoFundMe scam, and the GoFundMe got shut down. And it's just like, the problem with so many of these TikTokers is that, or any influencer, is that they're living above their means. And something that my grandma taught me as a kid that I'll never forget is she said, if you cannot buy something with cash in hand right now, then you cannot afford it. Or if the money isn't in your checking account right now, the full amount, you can't afford it. And it's like, I've seen so many scandals over the years of influencers, from YouTube or any, community that have gone broke because they start to live above their means.
But here's the interesting part. Not every influencer is buying into this anymore. Some are openly rejecting the whole fake it till you make it mindset and warning their followers not to fall into the same trap.
How are content creators making it on this app without going into major debt? Now they're promoting a lifestyle that they probably can't even keep up with. And as much as I want to make it big on this app, I cannot live that lifestyle. I am not a type of person who's going to go into debt trying to lie to you that you need to buy this thing or you need to live a certain lifestyle, because the reality is most of us are in debt. Most of us are not going on lavish vacations, and most of us are just trying to survive. Why can't we just be more honest about that?
Others are questioning the influencer business model altogether. Their argument is pretty simple. If you don't have a business, a brand, or something substantial behind your income, millions of followers won't stop you from going broke.
This is what I've been saying. 1.6 million followers, 500 million views, and this girl announces that she's quitting social media because she makes no money and she can't afford her rent. Let this forever shatter the lie that you can just post with no strategy and expect to live the glamorous life of an influencer. It doesn't work that way. This girl is broke because she has no product to sell, she has no engaged audience to sell it to, and she has no idea how to sell it to them. Her content offers no value other than light entertainment, and she offers no value, and that is why she's now begging for a job. This is not a difficult game, but you have to treat it like a business. You don't want to be an influencer, you want to be a business owner that uses content to sell their product. If you can do that, you can make an obscene amount of money, which is, I assume, your goal. Make a product that solves a problem, or copy someone else's product, figure out whose problem it solves, make content to attract that type of person, and then sell it to them.
Some influencers have admitted there's a weird disconnect between what people see online and what's happening behind the scenes. They're posting shopping hauls and showing off products while secretly worrying about paying their bills. That disconnect is starting to catch up with them.
The cognitive dissonance that I get from getting free stuff from brands and getting paid for my posts, but also being dirt poor. What? Like, it's very weird to be a small content creator making decent money on social media and always wearing like free stuff and posting about all of this and like having this part of my life. But the other part of my life, I live paycheck to paycheck. I can't afford to furnish my apartment because I'm in so much debt from being poor my whole life, that all of my extra money goes to that. And it's very just weird. Like, I feel like you see videos like mine and you come up with an idea of what this person is like, right? And it makes sense. I'm always making ads essentially. So you're like, yeah, okay, you are making money. You're doing fine. It's not true. I'm not doing fine. My bank account goes into the negative every single month. It's just very weird. I don't know. I feel like I'm having cognitive dissonance.
Other influencers say they simply can't bring themselves to keep doing it. When so many people are struggling financially, constantly pushing products and encouraging more spending just doesn't sit right with them anymore. The downside, of course, is that creators who don't mind doing those things often make a lot more money.
Something that I cannot stop thinking about is the cost of living. As someone that loves content creation and influencing, especially being signed with an agency, because you're always like pushed to do content like the get ready with me's and the hauls and do all these things, but in reality, I cannot do that. I genuinely cannot do that. I'm literally living paycheck to paycheck, as majority of Americans are, and I don't know, I feel like sometimes like I feel so disconnected if I post content like that, and I know that's what like drives the views. Just overall, like being a content creator and influencer is not real sometimes, because what you see on the internet versus what is happening in real life, there's just such a big gap there. Like, the majority of Americans are not going to Sephora, grabbing a coffee every day, have the means to go on vacation constantly. I get in my head where I just hop on my phone and I scroll and I see all these people doing these cool things. And obviously it has a lot to do with who I'm following, but the average American is literally like this close to poverty. As someone who posts content and like has their little brand deals from time to time, your girl's still barely getting by. Like, money goes by so fast. I think I'm just really sad that we're just barely making it by and we're supposed to be okay with it.
And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from all of this. Social media has created an environment where everyone feels pressure to look more successful than they really are. Not just influencers, but the people watching them too. Thankfully, more creators are starting to push back against that idea. They're encouraging their followers to stop comparing themselves to what they see online live within their means, and be content with what they have.
All these influencers were all lying and we're all actually miserable. You go online, you're scrolling. This influencer is in Turks and Cakes this week. This guy is on a private jet. This guy just posted up his 7th Rolex of the month. Or you're following that clean girl where every day she does the whole matcha, Pilates. You know the dangerous thing about watching influencers live their life online? Even if you don't wish to be them, you are still deeping a lifestyle subconsciously that you think that you want. Let us not forget that influencers only post the good times on the internet. No one is posting their struggles. So when we are watching people get their Birkins, get their Rolex, constantly on holiday, you start to feel anxiety. Like, am I not doing enough? How is this person that I'm watching online the same age as me? They're able to do that. And I'm just sitting here in my bed feeling like I haven't done with my life. Don't let the influencers trip you out into thinking that you're behind in life, because you're not. It's really a case of keeping up with the Joneses. Everybody's trying to keep up with everybody. Everyone wants the next latest and newest and hottest thing. Let me tell you something. The part that no one realizes about trying to keep up with the Joneses is not even the Joneses are happy. They some miserable too. Trust me.
At the end of the day, don't believe everything you see online. Some influencers are going into debt just to look successful. Others are living way above their means, assuming the high income they're making will last forever. The influencers who last are the ones who build a brand, create a product, or grow a business, and they make smart financial decisions along the way. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Llama out.